Yo, yo, what's good, y'all? You already know who. Yo, GOAT, Damelocks, you feel the kid, all that good stuff. Back on my little 1-2 action movie, John. But y'all listen, right? It's time. They dropped another trailer, but it's for Agatha. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know I'm tapped into everything coming. Heat, trailers, not trailers, all that. But y'all lock in, because I'm
Agatha.
just curious what this shit looks.
Confession, I know an egregious amount about you. Been obsessed since I first showed up on your Salem days. That's why I
Like,
saved
what are
you
we
from the
gonna
spell
be
you were
watching?
under. You're the only witch that's ever survived the Witch's Road.
Who are you?
I'm
What?
Interesting. We need to
That man
assemble
couldn't
a
even say
coven
his
to walk the
name.
road to get our powers back.
the road will give you the thing you want the most if you make it to the end.
Shall we? This journey. It's a death wish. Can we trust her? Agatha. The bodies are really piling up. We'll be safe as kittens. Okay?
Agatha,
Who's been messing up everything?
the Covenless Witch.
It's been Agatha all along.
No.
What really happened to you?
All that's foul and fair.
Okay, so
She
this
took
is
every
after
little bit of
WandaVision.
power I had.
Shall be
Her getting her power back.
Heard you guys were having a party.
What's up? Hey.
down the road, down
It will test us
the witches.
and our knowledge of the craft.
We don't even know what we're up against.
Our worst nightmares.
How do we pass this trial without any power?
We survive like witches have been doing for centuries.
So we about to watch a show
What happens next?
about witches with no magic. I don't know.
I just need
I don't
these
know,
witches
MC.
to get me to the end.
Why do you let them believe those things about you?
Because the truth is too awful.
I want my prize!
Magic.
Time to finish the road.
Welcome back, everyone.
had that
It was
before,
Agatha
gang.
all along. There's a brand new Marvel trailer they released with a bunch of new footage. We got a bunch more answers about how Scarlet Witch Elizabeth Olsen is coming back to the MCU, so we'll break it all down. It seems like
Okay,
her
she is
son
coming
Billy
back.
is going to be a big part of that, played by Joe Locke during the
That was
series.
Billy?
There's a couple
Alright,
funny
I didn't
moments
even
where they
peep that. Y'all
reference
knew that?
Scarlet Witch,
Like,
like a couple of WTF moments, but also kind of funny at the same time because of the way they're sort of writing her into the series. Probably one of the biggest things here is they explain that Agatha is able to break out of Scarlet Witch's spell that she left her in at the end of WandaVision because Billy uses his magic to break the spell. The reason why he's able to do that is because his magic is just as powerful as Scarlet Witch's. He is Scarlet Witch's son. His powers basically work the same way. He has the same reality warping powers that she has. But even though they don't show it in the trailers, his magic is coded blue, unlike Scarlet Witch's red chaos magic, so it's not quite the exact same type of magic. So part of the idea is that he's sort of like the true successor to Scarlet Witch because she's meant to be the most powerful magical being in the entire Marvel Universe. So basically his powers on the show will work a lot like Scarlet Witch's, which is why he's able to just innately
enjoy
break her spell
Scarlet
on
Witch,
Agatha
Scarlet
so that she
show.
can start to realize who she really
kinda
is and what
enjoyed
actually
that.
happened to her. The funny thing they're doing on the show, though, is they're just referring to him as Teen. So here's where we get to more Scarlet Witch Easter eggs. When he confronts Agatha, saying that he actually freed her for specific purposes, that he's trying to walk the witch's road and needs her help because she's the only witch that's done it before that he knows of. She seems like she could care less about him. Like, who the hell are you, kid? Why are you bothering me? Who are you?
He look crazy.
Notice how she perks up when he tries to
nobody
speak his
would
name but
assume
can't
he's,
because there's a spell laid on him by Scarlet
Kid,
Witch
for real.
herself. Notice it's her signature across his lips. It's Wanda Maximoff that's made out in the letters here, like her personal signature when she's
How we
signing
supposed to
forms.
realize that, bro?
It seems like she detects that that is Wanda Maximoff's signature on the spell, like she signed the spell. So it seems like at the beginning of the series, Agatha might not know that this boy is Scarlet Witch's son. She might just think that he's just a random witch. The other funny detail about this, too, is that if you watch the trailers that Marvel's been releasing with the subtitles on, they just subtitle him as Teen. The official materials refer to him as Teen. Very generic term, like we all know that he's playing Billy, her son. I haven't seen the series yet, but my assumption is that her magic just laid a protection spell on him, preventing him from speaking his name so that other people don't find out that he is the son of Scarlet Witch and try to hurt him or take him and use his power. Which it seems like is what the Salem 7 is doing in the trailer. That evil group of witches that seems like is trying to kill them throughout the different parts of the trailer, I believe is meant to be based on the Salem 7 from the comics. It's a series based on witches in the Marvel Universe, so naturally we're pushing into a lot of supernatural territory. The Salem 7 is a very supernatural group in the comics. Their father, canonically, is Nicholas Scratch, Agatha Harkness' son in the comics, aka Senior Scratchy, the bunny from WandaVision, which we see her holding in the trailers. There were so many theories about this when WandaVision was happening, like, wait a minute, is that her son, Nicholas Scratch, because his name is Senior Scratchy? The way they explain it on WandaVision, though, is that there were a bunch of deleted scenes from the finale. I did a couple videos about it, so I'll link those below in the description. In one of the bigger deleted scenes, they had a big battle scene featuring Senior Scratchy with Quicksilver, aka Ralph Boner. They were going to reveal that Senior Scratchy was actually a demon that was trapped in bunny form by Agatha Harkness. So it was just going to break the spell on it. It was going to turn to like full demon giant form. So I think that means that Senior Scratchy on the show is not Agatha Harkness' real son, Nicholas Scratch. I don't know if they're going to mention him during the series when they're talking about the Salem 7 characters. We'll see. But they are based on the group from the comics. Agatha Harkness used to live in the same place where they come from, New Salem, because we're talking about the Salem witch trials back in the 1700s where Agatha comes from.
Oh, he was talking about
Vampire Diaries. In the comics, she left that area to go become Franklin Richards' nanny of the Fantastic Four. There were all the jokes about her being a nanny during WandaVision. That was like a loose reference to her being a nanny for Franklin Richards, who we're going to see during the new Fantastic Four movie next year. This is actually footage of Sue Storm, Vanessa Kirby, holding baby Franklin Richards. That's supposed to be the reason why Galactus shows up at their version of Earth during the movie, is because he senses Franklin Richards' power.
What is that? When is that?
He's one of the most powerful mutants in the Marvel comics. Galactus becomes his herald.
Universe.
In another connection back to Scarlet Witch and Vision, so the Salem 7 actually trapped Scarlet Witch and Vision until she broke free and basically just destroyed them with her chaos magic. Like basically blew up the entire area.
Yeah, I know.
So their group has deep ties to both Agatha Harkness and to Scarlet Witch and Vision, which this series obviously meant to be a WandaVision spinoff. It's meant to be part 2 of what they call a Scarlet Witch trilogy, like a WandaVision trilogy. Part 3 is meant to be the Vision TV show that I just did a video for a little while ago. Ultron, James Spader himself, is coming back for that series. That'll be based more on the Tom King Vision run, where White Vision just tries to sort of figure out what's going on with himself after he took off at the end of the WandaVision finale. So for those of you wondering what happened to White Vision after the end of the WandaVision finale, they're going to deal with that during the Vision series in about 2 years. I think 2026 is when it's supposed to premiere. Pretty good chance that we'll see the adult version of Tommy, Scarlet Witch's other son, show up on that show. It just makes sense that if you're bringing her children back in adult form, that you do it on all these WandaVision spin-offs. I know there'll be a ton of questions about how Scarlet Witch's children made it back because they weren't real to begin with, so when she brought the Hex down, they got destroyed essentially. It's going to be connected to the way that Scarlet Witch survived at the end of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So her body was destroyed, but her spirit survived and went to the Witch's Road dimension. The way they're explaining Billy coming back in teenage form is somewhat similar. So part of the idea is that his body was destroyed, but his spirit lived on, and his spirit basically inhabited the body of another child who died. They might reference this in flashbacks. I don't expect them to completely explain this in episode 1. Like, it'll probably take the entire series to reveal who he really is and how he actually came back. but it's basically Billy's spirit inhabiting the body of Billy Kaplan, aka Wiccan from the comics, who was like a totally different kid that just died in some accident. That's the reason why his name isn't Billy Maximoff, it's Billy Kaplan, because Billy Kaplan was the child of a completely different family. But it's the spirit of Scarlet Witch's child, so it's basically his consciousness in that body. It's the exact same situation for Tommy as well, too. Like, his spirit inhabits the body of a completely different child and grows up with a completely different family, which is why they don't know that they're brothers until they meet each other and spend some time with each other. They get into that during the Young Avengers comics. Like, they basically meet each other, they realize they're brothers, and then they realize the Scarlet Witch is their mother, and then try to seek her out. So part of the idea is they're using this twist with Billy on the show to bring Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch back to the MCU. He'll start the series searching for her. I'm expecting a couple of cameo scenes from Elizabeth Olsen at some point during the series, maybe just flashes of her, but I don't think we'll actually see her fully come back either to like the end of the Vision series in a couple years or to like Avengers 5, because she will be in Avengers 5. But it makes sense that you bring her back to the MCU through one of the WandaVision spin-offs. During the press release for the Vision series, when they said it comes out in a couple of years, she's supposed to come back and cameo during that as well, too.
We're gonna have to wait
I'm
a couple years
expecting to
just
see
to
her
see
during
Vision,
the Agatha show in a couple
and I
different
guess
ways. Like,
Wanda,
there are a couple
but, like,
flashbacks to her during the trailer,
this
like
Vision show
what
for
happened
real.
during the events of WandaVision, just to explain Agatha's backstory. But they'll also start talking about her when Agatha starts to figure out what's going on with Billy. Like, why do you have Wanda Maximoff's signature on your lips? Like, why is there this spell that she put on you? Why are you so special? Oh, by the way, you're probably her son. There were like 4 different trailers that they've released for the show, and one of them does a pretty good job of spelling out who all the characters are, like who this Coven is that she assembles. Her Avengers team, the Avengers of Witches, because it's a roster of 6 characters, so you're talking about jokes on the original Avengers, 6 team members. It's essentially Agatha putting together a magical raid party in the MCU and going on a big dungeon run that just happens to be in an alternate dimension. The Witch's Road is an alternate dimension. They need to use their magic to open the door to that other dimension. Her team is Agatha herself, who says that she's walking the Witch's Road because she's trying to get her powers back, and if you complete the road, it's supposed to give you your greatest heart's desire, and her desire is to get her powers back, at least at the beginning of the show. There might be some twists with that by the end, like she'll get her powers back one way or another, but her secret heart's desire might be something else, because you see her actually open her locket that we see throughout WandaVision. There was also a much better close-up picture of the locket, too. It is the mother, the maiden, in the crone, like a lot of people suspected way back when WandaVision came out. Then there's Scarlet Witch's son, Billy. Already talked a lot about him. This character is Jennifer Kale, based on the comic book character. She crosses over with Man-Thing. We saw him on Werewolf by Night. She crossed over with Ghost Rider, the Midnight Suns, even with Scarlet Witch.
I didn't watch it.
So she has a big connection with a lot of the characters they're dealing with during this series. On the show, they explain her main function is potions. So in their raid party, she basically buffs the party. Patti LuPone is playing Lily Calderu, who is not a character from the comics. They just created her for the show because they wanted Patti LuPone. You notice a lot of the genres that they travel through in the series, like WandaVision jumps through different TV genres, different eras. They're doing something similar during the Agatha series, but just with different genres, different vibe. Some of them, I think, are meant to be based on musicals, and Patti LuPone is known for doing a lot of Broadway, a lot of musicals. On the show, she said that her main power is divination, basically manifesting in her having visions of the future, like they divine the future, but she doesn't fully understand what's happening, and she doesn't control her ability to see the future, like it just happens randomly. This is Alice Wu Gulliver. She's the protection witch. Her power, self-explanatory. If we're talking about raid parties here, she's kind of like the tank and the shield. She soaks most of the damage. In the trailer, they make it seem like Mrs. Hart is their Green Witch, but I believe that's supposed to be Rio Vidal, Aubrey Plaza's character, because you see her wearing green throughout the rest of the trailers. None of the trailers really explain why Mrs. Hart joins their party, because Agatha looks like she goes to recruit her. She's like, oh, yay, a party. Let's all drink wine together because they're forming a coven. But Mrs. Hart, the trailers really explain why Mrs. Hart joins their...
Oh, my show. Is that... Yo, is that Kitty, bro? Time out, bro. Am I bugging, bro? Y'all let me know if that's Kitty, bro. From that 70s show. Or if y'all watching that 90s show, I guess. Like, that's good too. That's actually pretty decent. Like, pretty funny.
I believe that's supposed to be Rio Vidal, Aubrey Plaza's character, because you see her wearing green throughout the rest of the trailers. None of the trailers really explain
I
why
swear that looks
Mrs.
just
Hart
like her,
joins
bro.
their party,
Yo,
because
that is
Agatha
her,
looks
bro.
like
I'm
she
not
goes to
bugging.
recruit her. She's like, oh, yay, a
Not
party.
bugging.
Let's all drink wine together, because they're forming a coven. But Mrs. Hart thinks that it's just like a
That's
fun party
hard.
that she's
What?
going to.
I might
Most
really.
people
Oh
will
yeah.
remember her as Kitty
Yeah.
from that 70s show. She was pretty
On
funny
my
during the
soul.
WandaVision series, too. I don't think
On
she's
my
secretly
soul.
supposed to be a witch, because during most of the trailer footage, she seems like the fish out of water, just reacting to all the weird stuff happening to them. They
But
can't believe
they're bringing
everything.
her
Like,
back.
what is this? What's going on? Why is it so weird here? Aubrey Plaza's
That's
Rio
hard.
Vidal character is not from the comics. They just created her for the show. She's supposed to be another ancient witch like Agatha, who I believe has strong history with her character. Maybe they had some kind of weird relationship going back to the 1700s in Salem. But you see her during several different parts of the trailer in the timeline, like when she's still
How these
trapped in
old
Scarlet
Salem
Witch's
witches
spell. She's trying to
able
tell
to
her
live
to break
alive,
free.
bro?
Then she claws her way out of the dirt when they're inside the Witch's Road dimension.
I'm
So it
missing
seems like she
something
doesn't start the
from their
series
comics.
on Agatha's Coven, like she's not part of her team when she goes the Witch's Road. That might be early theory, because Rio Vidal's character here is leading the Salem 7, and she's trying to steal Billy Kaplan so she can take his power. Early on, they were pitching the series as Agatha protecting Billy from the Salem 7 so that they couldn't take his power. So maybe Aubrey Plaza's character just tries to gate crash on their party so that she can sort of horn in on that and take him by the end of the series. But I think part of the idea they're trying to pitch here is that eventually Agatha gets her powers
Bro,
back and
if Billy's
defeats all
so
of
damn
them by
strong,
the end
bro,
of the
why all these
series. But
people
they'll
keep
be
trying to
tailing
jack his
them
power,
throughout the
bro?
entire series
I ain't
in the
gonna
Witch's
cap.
Road. There's even a
Ain't
bit of a
nobody
funny
doing that to
connection,
Wanda,
whether or
bro,
not they
unless
intended
she's
this on
throwing her
purpose or if
Johns
it's a
away.
coincidence, to
No more
Deadpool
mutant.
and Wolverine. So one of the genres that they travel through during the
Filthy
Witch's
though,
Road
yeah.
here is the Wizard of Oz. During Deadpool and Wolverine, he literally mentions the Wizard of Oz when he's making fun of Marvel, like it's a big Disney Marvel joke about their multiverse tanking.
Look, the Wizard of Oz did the multiverse first, and they did it best. The gays knew it, but we didn't listen.
Part of the connection there back to the
That
Agatha
was a good
series is
movie.
that during the series, they do
I was a little
travel
hard on
to
it
the alternate
before, I
dimension
feel
of
like.
the Witch's Road, kind of like you see during The Wizard of Oz. Dorothy traveling to the land of Oz. There's a bunch of other trailer footage here, so if there's any really big questions you have that I didn't address during this video, or big Easter eggs for Scarlet Witch or the other characters that I didn't talk about, just write them below in the comments. But for instance, during the trailer, when they're looking at the Witch's Road, you see what looks kind of like a red light coming from a door at the end of the road. I think that's Billy seeing what he thinks he will find out about his true identity, that he is the son of Scarlet Witch, and he's looking for her. But it sounds like whatever spell Scarlet Witch put on him to protect him from himself and from other people prevents him from knowing where he came from and who his mother is at first. Like, I'm just trying
This
to figure
look
out
hella
where I
teeny
come from,
boppish.
and then he finds
I ain't
out
gonna
that he
cap.
is Scarlet Witch's son. Everybody post all your predictions, your theories in the comments below. Episodes will start relatively soon, so I will do videos like I do for all the other Marvel
tap
series,
in,
just like
for
normal.
sure.
There's a
This
bunch of big
Marvel
stuff coming
series.
up because this series will also overlap with the Penguin series, which is set in the Matt Reeves Batman universe with Robert Pattinson.
That,
The
boy,
funny thing about that is that they said
that's
that
gonna
Batman
be
would not
hard.
show up during the Penguin episodes.
I don't even care.
But they didn't say that Bruce Wayne would not
I don't
show
even
up. So
care.
my guess is that
Like-
Bruce Wayne appears, like Robert Pattinson
Like,
will cameo,
you could give him a
but it'll
tiny,
be as
tiny
Bruce Wayne.
cameo, bro.
I just did a brand
But,
new
like,
Fantastic
this
Four
the-
teaser
this the-
trailer
this
video.
Penguin
Click
come
here
up,
for
bro.
that,
I'm not
and click
gonna
here
cap.
to learn why Marvel canceled
Hold
Eternals.
on, bro. You're talking over me, bro. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. He's right. Penguin is coming. Like, I'm gonna tap into Agatha too, just to see what it's about. Like, and if it's good, I'll probably lock in for sure. You know what I'm saying? But y'all, I'm definitely locking into Penguin. I'm not gonna cap. That just been dropping steady heat trailers, bro. Like, I'm ready for all the work. I ain't gonna cap. Like, is Fake gonna be like so clean? Like, it's gonna be movie production about Penguin. Like, if y'all don't mess with the character, bro, y'all going to. I feel like. I ain't gonna cap. But the kid is gone, man. You know what I'm saying? Be safe out here. All that. Word.